So, next up, who would win a fight between Hulk and Batman? Um, right. Say Ben Nelson. He's read a lot more Hulk comics than I have, and he's probably far more of an expert about Hulk. But a lot of this question really it's about how much like Bats. A lot of the time he has to retreat and he has to figure out a plan to defeat his opponent. Um, my initial thought is that Hulk will win in a direct fight nearly all of the time. So the reasoning it goes as follows. So there was an issue. Ben mentions that Batman versus the Incredible Hulk from 1982. The Joker is attempting to steal a gamma gun. Bruce Banner, he's working in the lab where the gun is located, and he's one of the few people in the lab who put on a hazmat suit to stop themselves from being knocked out by the Joker's knockout gas. He attempts to stop them from getting the gun, and he inevitably ends up transforming into the Hulk form. They try shooting him, but nothing happens, and the bullets just are bouncing off like jelly beans, as one of the henchmen is pointing out. And as Joker and his henchmen, they're grabbing this gamma gun, they're attempting to make their getaway. The Cape Crusader shows up on the scene, and there is ultimately a misunderstanding, and Batman ends up fighting the Hulk. And the Joker is a bit more quick-witted than Bats. He tricks Hulk into thinking that Batman's the enemy. And what follows is there's one thing or the other, there's a title fight, and that's the main thing that everyone waits for. So Batman's heaviest hits to Hulk's nerve centers, they do nothing to Hulk. He's confounded as to why Hulk won't fall, and Hulk responds to the punches with, "You tried to hurt Hulk." And it shows that Batman's hits didn't do anything to him, and he launched a counterattack. So there's a bit where all the Batman fans point to, and Hulk's here and he's saying Hulk's too smart for Batman, gas cannot hurt Hulk if Hulk doesn't breathe it. Blast. Batman's thinking maybe there is a brain inside that thick green skull of his after all, and with those oversized lungs the Hulk can hold his breath from now till next Christmas, unless I can take the wind out of his sails like this. And he gives him a really good kick straight in here, and the powerful kick to the Man-Brute's solar plexus is more startling than painful, but it achieves the desired result, and the breath is driven from his lungs. The Hulk reflexively sucks in a fresh chest full of air. So he's really given this very hard, exceptionally powerful kick and startles the Hulk. And he breathes in deeply, and he's breathing in obviously this sleeping gas, so that wins the fight for him. So people sometimes call this plot induced stupidity. It's brought on so the plot can move forward in a way that a writer needs it to, rather than have a sort of realistic result. And then later on, Batman sort of tries a trick with the gas again, but there's more of like an open environment, and Hulk, he blows this gas away with a swing of his arm. And there's a shot here, well, there's a bit of the comic here where obviously Hulk is underneath a car picking it up, and he's about he's going to try and throw it at Bats or whatever. So he's obviously got the strength advantage. That's just incredibly insane strength. So Batman's making this comment. He can't outfight him, he can't outsmart him. He's gonna be a goner, and he unleashes some of these smoke bombs, hoping that they'll be more effective than sleeping gas. So Hulk just, destroys part of the parking garage they're in and leaves. And that does show how it wasn't a real victory for Batman. He really had to just get out of there. Hulk, obviously, he got rid of the knockout gas. He chose to stand still. He holding his breath and keeping his eyes tight shut. So yeah, there will be times when Batman could figure some way of beating him, but you've got to say that probably 90% of the time Hulkster will win. And Batman fans might say that you could use Hellbat armor, which could be fairly cool. It was built by the other members of the Justice League, so he could play in their ballpark. But if it's kept under lock and key, and he can't, use it without going behind their backs. But I suppose there's a downside, because it is powered by his metabolism. When he's been in his suit for sort of 5 minutes, and he's had to shut down some systems so he could have, enough time to finish his mission, it shows that really you can't use that indefinitely. And he's got to use that immediately, that suit, otherwise he'll end up sort of killing himself. It's worked against Apocalypse, but barely stood up to Darkseid. If he could get that suit on and use it, he's got a much better chance of winning against Hulk. But there's another option. There is the Justice Buster, and it rarely works. It rarely defeats. It's defeated every member of the League, but it hasn't defeated Superman, who did end up tearing the suit apart, and while he was using some red giants to depower Superman, the Justice Buster was developed to withstand hits from superpowered people who, hit really hard. But there are, again, he's relying on this suit, which isn't actually him in normal form. So Batman says, Batman fans say you could call the Justice League, but then that's not fair, because you're calling in multiple people against one opponent. So that's not really fair. Of course, in life, people don't fight fair fights. So you bring more people against one strong opponent, and you can still bring them down if you bring enough people against them, and you don't have any idea about a fair fight, which people are like that. But yeah, ultimately the conclusion is Hulk will win. He's got very fast reflexes. He's got crazy strength, like Superman, and then very durable like Superman. And the way it's presented, as much of a Batman fan as I am, I'm gonna say that the vast majority of the time that Hulk is going to have this one. Do you agree with this? Do you disagree? Tell me your thoughts on this. Please subscribe, like, and share this video if you like what I'm doing here with the deathmatch commentaries on the superheroes. See you in the next one.